Sequins, symbolism and serious corsetry, what Queen Victoria wore to her Jubilees, Golden Jubilee 1887 and Diamond Jubilee 1897. Long live the Queen and her outfits. Welcome back to Past People, where the drama is regal, the dresses are historic, and the corsets are laced tighter than royal family emotions. Today we're unboxing, not literally, don't panic conservators, two of the most iconic outfits in Queen Victoria's later life. Her Golden Jubilee gown of 1887 and her Diamond Jubilee gown of 1897. That's right, this is about fashion, power, and the very delicate balance of dressing like both a widow and a ruler of half the globe. Get ready for sequins, symbolism, and a 78-year-old monarch who said, "Yes, I will wear black, but I will also wear glitter." Part 1. The Golden Jubilee, 1887. The year is 1887. Queen Victoria has been on the throne for 50 years. She's survived childbirth, assassination attempts, revolutions, and more relatives dying than a soap opera finale. And now it's time to celebrate. The Golden Jubilee is a massive public relations event. Think royal processions, foreign dignitaries, church services, and very careful image control. Victoria's health isn't great. She has mobility issues and rarely appears in public, but the symbolism of the moment is too important to ignore. The Golden Jubilee dress. So, what does she wear? An all-black silk gown, of course. Victoria was still deep in mourning for Albert, 26 years and counting by this point, and she wasn't about to break her widow aesthetic just for a national celebration. But that didn't mean the dress was plain. No, no, darling. This gown is decked out in black lace, jet beading, and gold embroidery. She paired it with a lace cap, the same type she'd worn since Albert died, and diamond jewellery, just subtle enough to say, "Yes, I'm grieving, but I'm also still the Empress of India, thank you very much." And here's where it gets juicy. Despite being in black, the dress was custom designed to shine under candlelight. The jet beads caught every flicker, so while she looked sombre, she also sparkled. A little glimmer of majesty through mourning. Symbolism in every stitch. This wasn't just a dress. This was a national statement. Victoria's gown told the public, "I am still mourning Albert, I am still sovereign, and I am still not dead, despite what the newspapers occasionally speculate." She was also very aware of her public image. She didn't want to appear frivolous or flamboyant, but she also didn't want to look weak. The black and gold gown hit the perfect tone, solemn, imperial, majestic. Also, let's not forget, corsetry. At 68 years old, Victoria was still corseted and crinolined. 2. The Diamond Jubilee, 1897. 10 years later, we hit the big one, 60 years on the throne. It's 1897. Victoria's 78. She's barely 5 feet tall. She walks with a cane. She's the matriarch of Europe and the ruler of the largest empire the world has ever seen. It's giving Game of Thrones, but make it lace. The public, wild with adoration. The press, calling it the crowning glory of her reign. The Queen, deeply annoyed her gout is flaring up. The Diamond Jubilee dress. Her gown this time, once again black silk with layers of white lace. The vibe is half grieving widow, half divine imperial grandmother. No bright colours, no scandalous shimmer. But this time, pearls were the statement. Victoria wore rows of pearls, a known symbol of tears and mourning, but also longevity and royalty. She also wore the George IV state diadem, the Order of the Garter sash, and her Diamond Jubilee brooch, custom made naturally and featuring a huge yellow diamond the size of a gobstopper. And on her bodice, more black sequins and silver thread embroidery, forming intricate patterns of flora and emblems of empire. She wasn't subtle, she was gloriously regal. The construction, fitting a monarch who wouldn't sit still. The Diamond Jubilee dress was likely crafted by her personal dressmaker, Madame P, possibly Madame Hélène Perret, who had the impossible task of designing a formal court dress for a woman who hated trying things on. Queen Victoria did not do fittings, she did not suffer fabric changes, and she certainly didn't wait while people pinned her hem. So these dresses were often designed with fabrics she already liked, in shapes she already wore, and adjusted by eyeballing her posture from previous measurements. Can you imagine designing a world-famous royal gown for one of the most photographed women alive and having to do it on vibes alone? How she wore it, the final look. In both Jubilee appearances, Victoria was seated, often in a raised carriage or throne, with layers of silk and lace arranged to frame her like a portrait. Photographers captured her in formal court setups, but the public also saw her during parades and processions. Her train was carried by ladies in waiting, her bodice was rigid, tightly fastened, her veil fluttered slightly in the breeze. It was theatrical mourning, a walking contradiction. She looked both permanent and perishable, powerful and pitiful, ancient and divine. People wept, people screamed, people bought commemorative china in her image. The aftermath. What happened to the dresses? Sadly, neither of the original Jubilee gowns survive in full. Some fragments and accessories exist in collections, but the dresses were either dismantled for fabric reuse, destroyed with other court clothing, or lost to time. What we have now are photographs, descriptions, and, if you're lucky, replicas in museum displays. And yet, these dresses still loom large in the cultural... Because Queen Victoria didn't just wear her dresses, she became them. Her fashion was her public persona. Each pleat, pearl and bead carried the weight of empire, expectation, and 60 years of sovereign power. So there you have it. 2 iconic gowns, 2 monumental jubilees, and 1 tiny iron-willed monarch who wore black better than anyone before or since. Queen Victoria's Jubilee dresses were more than clothes. They were declarations of endurance, of grief, of dominance wrapped in satin and stitched with sorrow. She wore her mourning-like armour, and she made sure you never forgot who was underneath it. Until next time, stay bejewelled, stay bonneted, and stay past people.